this feel like, congratulations first up, back in the first grade squad, but does this feel like literally a second coming?
Yeah, first of all, thank you, mate. Yeah, it sort of sunk in. Yesterday I had a day off, and it sort of went back to when I first had the idea in my head of, trying to come back. And yeah, to where I am right now, standing right here and being able to put the jersey on Sunday. It's a cliche, but it's honestly a dream come true for me. Later on, 10 years down the track, when I try and explain this to someone, I won't be able to, because it's just been such a different ride for me. Like, from starting off at pre-season on the training trial to be here now, it was just so different to anything I'd ever done in my career, and the relief, the joy that I'm going to get on Sunday to be able to run out with those boys is going to be special.
Do you think you can top the send-off you got here at Belmore?
Oh, mate, the boys have been already into me saying it's going to be all the people running on the field and whatnot. But, mate, look, I'll be honest, that'll be hard to top. That was pretty cool, pretty crazy. But, yeah, it's going to be quite a day. And not just for me. Had a good chat to my family yesterday and just thank them for being a part of my journey. I don't think a lot of people realise how much they actually ride the roller coaster with you, and the ups, the downs, and the good games, the bad games. They always tell you play well, which is good. But yeah, it's I'm just glad they're here and a part of it with me too, and they're super proud of me, and sort of tell me how much they loved me yesterday and how much joy I brought to them and to the family too. So yeah, it's special, mate.
Josh, can you talk us through that process between, you said it last year when you were thinking about having a go again, talk us through sort of what you've had to go through and the hardships you've had to sort of overcome between then and now?
Oh, mate, I wouldn't call them hardships, hey, there's been so many, I've seen so many more boys in that room go through a lot more than what I went through, but it was more, for me this time, probably a mental battle, just because it's probably the most self-doubt I've ever had, to be honest, which is a bit, I struggled with it, just because I never really had a lot coming through, because you're young and you're fit and you know your body's, going to be okay. But the first day when I sort of come into pre-season, I was nervous, and then I'd done the first sort of fitness test and whatever, and it made me more nervous, because I was like, yeah, I feel a lot worse than what I usually do, and I pride myself on that stuff. So yeah, but then the weeks rolled on. I got in and found my feet, and I started feeling like myself again. And I had a little hiccup. I had a little hemi during the middle, which once again wasn't great timing, just because of I only had 12 weeks to sort of prove myself, and the whole, I suppose, question that Gus and Ciro had was, is your body going to hold up? So pretty much that was a no to them. But I just said, I said to Ciro, like, I'm going to get back as fast as I can and just, try and get back to where I was. And he was good about that. So I've got to thank him for that, and just thank him for, I suppose, sticking with me, because I suppose they would have had some big doubts there, because, I think that's what everyone thought was going to happen, and it did happen. But I'm here right now, and yeah, I'm happy that I stuck with it. I'm happy that I get to do this on Sunday, and I'm just glad it. I said it yesterday. I'm glad it just didn't come easy. Like, I'm glad I didn't just walk in here and not that go off what I'd done here before. I wanted to solely prove myself again to the people here and the group. So yeah, it's been good.
Has it felt like being back at the Belmore of old when you were last here? Have things felt the same, or does it feel like a different club now?
It is a bit different in some things, mate, but some areas, sorry. But the club itself, the people who are still here from then are still exactly the same, and they all want the same thing as what we used to back then, and that's to embrace the club it is, the family club it is. And that's one thing that I love about what firstly us as a team, but Gus and Ciro have brought probably back a bit. You know, they were the first ones to sort of say that it had been lost a little. But I think the last Belmore game, how the team walked down with pretty much the whole of Belmore area behind us is pretty cool. Like it's showing that we want, you know, these fan base, this community to know that we do care. We do care about results, and we're going to try and get this club back to where it, you know, deserves to be. Because let's face it, it's a big club. You know, there's been many greats at this club, many great, you know, grand finals, and I think, you know, the fans, the families, everyone's along for that ride, and you know, hopefully we can as a group repay that.
I know you said you've had time to digest it a little bit, that you will be playing on Sunday, but just cast your mind back. You know, 6 years it's been since you played for the Bulldogs. We all know what happened. Yeah, you got chaired off, and you left under different circumstances. You probably never thought you'd ever be back here at Belmore. And we expect a tear in the eye on Sunday. What's the emotion feeling like, Josh?
Oh mate, I'm always tearing. I'm a bit of a sookie, but no. Yeah, I read something literally just before. It's like 2,033 days. Like when you think about that, that's a lifetime, eh? Like that's crazy. And when I do think about it, I did lose the love for the game a bit on that little 5-year period, but only because I loved it so much here. Like, there's no comparison I can ever draw with when I went to the Tigers and when I went to England that was ever even close to here. And that's not me just saying that, that's just me being honest, because like I sort of thought about it as well, and I was like, in 10 years' time when I do talk about this, you know, if I'm talking to my son or my daughter about my football career, it would have been a bit bitter if I ended it there. So now that I get to talk about it and talk about finishing it here at the club I love, just changes all that, and it makes it all worth it. So I'm just sort of glad I sort of persevered with it, you know, got through that period and found the love for it again right now, because this feeling I'm having right now is exactly how I used to feel, you know, back in the good old days when I was here. So yeah, it's been great.
On the other side of it, obviously 6 years is a long time, and a lot of the guys who play for the Bulldogs now, that's Josh Reynolds, he used to play for the Bulldogs. How have they been with you coming back into the club as somebody sort of almost a mythical figure around it?
Yeah, I was a bit nervous when I first come back in, because I didn't know how I was going to be accepted, I guess, back into the tribe, because I did leave in the end. Like, it was obviously my decision, but the only thing that I can say is I think and I hope that, you know, Bulldogs people, supporters, people in this building right here know, whenever I was here, I honestly tried my best. Sometimes I tried too hard. I lost games for us. I had brain explosions. I done things I shouldn't have done, but it was all because I just cared. And that's what I do for this place. I care. It's easy for me to come in here every day and want to make it a better place. And I think, you know, sort of getting the feel, the vibe around from the people is that, you know, if you come back and do that, you know, we'll still, you know, love that Josh Reynolds. And I think that's what it is about for me, mate. Just doing exactly what I used to do. And, you know, people keep asking me, what's your role this week? All Sarah said to me is just go out there and give energy. And I feel that's all I used to do back in the day, mate. So that's easy for me. So, yeah, hopefully, mate, they've forgotten about the last 5 years and happy with me now.
Is the pressure? Do you feel pressure going into the game thinking you've got to live up to what Josh Reynolds is in the eyes of the fans who obviously haven't seen you play for the Bulldogs for many years?
Mate, no, because I feel the type of supporters that they are, like I said, if you're putting in like effort, proper effort, genuine effort, and they can see that they'll be happy with that. Don't get me wrong, for me personally, I want to have an impact on the game on Sunday, and I know exactly what I've got to do. But from a fan's perspective, if I don't go out there and score 2 tries, set up 6 and kick a field goal, it's still okay. As long as I, you know, go out there, wear the jersey with pride and do my role, that'll be fine.
You speak so passionately, you've got so much energy. Do you need to maybe take a deep breath and have a little bit of a step back to make sure things don't get too excited?
Yeah, I was just talking to Stevie Turner about 10 minutes ago. He's like, mate, you're pumped. And I said, I'm actually trying to de-pump myself because it's still heaps. There's a long way to the game, and this is the only time I've actually spoken about the game. And yeah, I'm not going to lie, I'm getting feel a bit excited inside because, you know, like, it's just how I talk, mate. Like, it just comes out of me, but that's okay. You know, I'll go back down and go in there and know that I've got to tackle Jason Taumalolo 20 times, so that'll sure bring me back down to earth. But, yeah, it's been a battle for me, mate, in my career. But, yeah, I'd like to think I'm a bit older and wiser now and, mate, just put the brakes on till at least Friday or something and go out and put all the energy into the game.
You touched on it briefly about what your role will be. Do you know when you're going to get on, what the plan is in terms of what you will actually be doing with the ball?
No, that's I'm keen to go and see Ciro because we've sort of just had a day off, come in here and done some recovery this morning, but then we've got video straight after this into the field after. So, look, I'll assume I'll play maybe a similar role to Nu. Not sure whether minutes-wise I'll have the same lungs as him, but in the middle there, because it is the washing machine, as all the forwards will tell you. But yeah, mate, whatever I've got to do, I'll do it to the best of my ability and try and help the team in any way I can.
What's the 33-year-old version of Josh Reynolds bring? Be honest, is he a little bit slower this way, but a bit quicker up here? And, you know, you've gone toe-to-toe with a future immortal at Origin level. You've got that won't back down attitude, and we know that from the infamous nickname you got the last time you were here. Is there still an element of that in your game?
Look, I don't think you ever lose that. I think, you know, some people will call it grubbiness. I call it competing, you know. I do step over the mark sometimes. I have in the past. I've admitted that. But at the same time, it's what I've built my career on. And, yeah, I'll never want to shy away from that, step away from that, because, as I said before, Ciro wants me to be, you know, that energy, and whether it's attack or defence and being in people's faces, if that's what I've got to do, that's what I want to do. And but yeah, to answer your question, I'd like to think I'm a little bit more smarter than the 33-year-old Josh Reynolds.
Can I just ask one more? You say you've got to go out there and bring energy. How do you bring energy with a guy like Fox in this side? How do you top that?
Oh, you can't. He's untoppable, mate. That bloke. I just heard his laugh just before as we were in here. So, but no, mate. He's the type of guy I love having around because he always is. He has always got that energy, and we just got to feed off that. We got to use it a bit more, and yeah, we'll try and team up this week and see how we go.